Imagine yourself sailing across the dark waters of the North Atlantic, when suddenly the sea rises around your ship. Gigantic tentacles emerge from the depths, each one thicker than a ship's mast. Your crewmates scream in terror as massive eyes, large as dinner plates, stare at you from the abyss. You've just encountered the Kraken, the most feared creature of all the oceans. But hold on before you click away, because what you're about to discover in this video will completely change your perspective on this legendary monster. We're going to explore together how this mythical creature was born in the minds of Scandinavian sailors, how it transformed through the centuries, and why it still fascinates us so much today. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal the surprising secret behind the Kraken's true identity and its hidden impact on our modern culture. The story of the Kraken begins in the icy mists of the north, where Vikings braved storms to conquer new territories. The first written account of this creature dates back to 1180, when King Sverre of Norway recorded in his chronicles the existence of this sea monster that haunted the Norwegian coasts. But wait, this wasn't yet the Kraken as we know it today. Back then, sailors spoke of a creature so massive it could be mistaken for an entire island. Imagine the shock of a crew dropping anchor on what they think is a rocky islet, only to discover they've just moored their boat on the back of a sleeping monster. The name Kraken itself has origins in the German word meaning dragon, which already gives us an idea of the terror this creature inspired. But the early Norwegian accounts described something more like a giant whale or a fish of immeasurable size. It was only over time that the image of the Kraken became more defined as the tentacled cephalopod we know today. Scandinavian sailors had developed an entire folklore around this creature. According to their tales, the Kraken rarely emerged from the depths, but when it did, it was to feed. And guess what? Its hunting method was as ingenious as it was terrifying. The creature was described as having tentacles that could reach over a mile in length and eyes the size of plates. But what made the Kraken truly formidable was its ability to create massive whirlpools simply by moving underwater. A single beat of its tentacles could create a maelstrom capable of swallowing multiple ships at once. Over the centuries, each maritime culture brought its own interpretation of the Kraken. British sailors described it as a more aggressive creature, capable of seizing entire ships with its tentacles and crushing them like nutshells. The French began talking about a colossal octopus that could change color to camouflage itself in the depths. Each account added a layer of mystery and terror to the growing legend. So, where does this obsession with the Kraken really come from? The answer is both simple and fascinating. Historians believe the Kraken legend originates from observations of giant squid by ancient navigators. For sailors who had never seen a cephalopod of this size, an encounter with a giant squid could easily transform into an epic tale of a mythical monster. And when you know that a giant squid can measure up to 43 feet long, you understand why 12th century sailors had plenty to fuel their nightmares. Hey, before we continue our dive into the Kraken's universe, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming mythological explorations. It helps me tremendously and guarantees you won't miss any of our fascinating discoveries. The evolution of the Kraken through the ages is absolutely remarkable. During the Middle Ages, medieval cartographers drew monstrous sea creatures on their maps, often in unexplored ocean areas. These representations served both to warn navigators of dangers and to fill empty spaces on their maps with something spectacular. The Kraken became the perfect symbol of oceanic unknown, that part of our world that remained completely mysterious and potentially deadly. During the Renaissance, with the rise of great maritime explorations, Kraken sightings multiplied. Spanish sailors returning from the Americas told of having seen tentacled creatures capable of sinking entire galleons. Portuguese explorers described sea monsters that followed their ships for days, waiting for the opportune moment to attack. Each culture added its own details, its own terrors, creating a true mythological patchwork around this creature. The golden age of piracy in the 17th and 18th centuries also contributed to enriching the Kraken legend. Pirates, always quick to dramatize their adventures, told stories of treasures swallowed by the Kraken, of ghost ships transformed into the monster's lairs. These tales fed the collective imagination and began giving the Kraken a more complex dimension, less simply destructive. In the 19th century, literature seized upon the Kraken in a masterful way. Jules Verne, in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, presented a modernized version of the Kraken, transforming the mythical monster into a scientifically plausible adversary for Captain Nemo. This approach revolutionized the perception of the Kraken, moving it from a simple creature of maritime legends to a central element of emerging science science fiction. Victor Hugo, in Toilers of the Sea, offers a gripping description of a battle against a giant octopus that draws directly from Kraken mythology. His psychological approach to the monster, described not only as a physical predator, but also as an embodiment of primal fear, deeply influenced modern fantasy literature. Edgar Allan Poe, master of the macabre, used Kraken imagery to create incomparable maritime horror atmospheres. His descriptions of tentacles emerging from abyssal depths to seize terrified sailors established new standards for oceanic horror in literature. Kraken mythology isn't exclusively Western. In Japanese culture, similar creatures like the taco, a giant octopus, share many characteristics with the Nordic kraken. These fascinating similarities suggest that the fear of large cephalopods is universal, transcending cultures and continents. Polynesian cultures have their own versions of tentacled sea monsters, often associated with vengeful ocean deities. These creatures served as explanations for mysterious ship disappearances and unexplained oceanic phenomena. Each maritime culture developed its own interpretation of the same terrifying archetype. The arrival of cinema in the 20th century gave a new visual dimension to the kraken. The films Clash of the Titans from 1981 and its 2010 remake presented spectacular representations of the kraken, transforming the mythical creature into a big-screen star. These films defined the modern image of the kraken for generations of viewers. The kraken became a staple of maritime horror cinema, from films like Deep Rising to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Each representation brings its own vision of the creature. The evolution of special effects has allowed for increasingly impressive and terrifying krakens, making ancient legends more alive than ever. In the video game universe, the kraken has found new life. From fantasy RPGs to sailing simulators, the creature has become a recurring final boss, an ultimate challenge for players. Games like Sea of Thieves or Assassin's Creed Black Flag have integrated the kraken as a central element of their gameplay, allowing players to experience their own epic confrontations against the legendary monster. In comics, particularly at DC and Marvel, several creatures have been named kraken, each bringing their own interpretation of the original mythology. These modern adaptations show the extraordinary flexibility of the kraken concept, capable of adapting to all genres and all eras. The symbolism of the kraken is deeply rich and multifaceted. It often represents the unknown, the mysteries of marine depths, and unexplored territories of human consciousness. In modern psychology, the kraken has become a powerful metaphor for our deepest fears, those that emerge from the abyss of our unconscious. In literature, the kraken symbolizes power, chaos, and destruction. It represents uncontrollable natural forces against which humanity feels powerless. This symbolism particularly resonates in our era, where environmental and climate issues constantly remind us of our vulnerability to nature's forces. Curiously, the kraken has become a symbol of the need to protect marine ecosystems. This modern symbolic evolution transforms the destructive creature into a guardian of the oceans, highlighting the consequences of our actions on the natural world. It's a fascinating reinterpretation that shows how myths can evolve to reflect contemporary concerns. In the business and marketing world, the kraken has become a symbol of power and mystery. From rum brands to sports teams, many have adopted the kraken's image to convey an impression of strength and originality. The mythical creature has become a true commercial phenomenon, proving that its appeal transcends centuries. Modern psychoanalysis sees in the kraken a representation of our primitive anxieties related to the aquatic element. Water, a symbol of the unconscious in Freudian theory, becomes the kraken's territory, this creature that emerges from the depths to confront the conscious ego. This interpretation gives a fascinating psychological dimension to kraken mythology. The kraken continues today to inspire artists, storytellers, and mythologists, proving that some legends never disappear into the depths. Its constant presence in popular culture testifies to its lasting impact on the collective human imagination. Modern representations of the kraken have also evolved to reflect our current scientific knowledge. Documentaries about giant squid have given new credibility to the legend, showing that reality can sometimes surpass fiction. These real creatures, filmed in their natural environment, possess a beauty and strangeness that rival the greatest mythological tales. The kraken's influence on contemporary art is remarkable. From monumental sculptures to multimedia installations, artists continue to draw draw from this iconography to create works that question our relationship with the ocean and the unknown. The Kraken thus becomes a prism through which we explore our deepest fears and fascinations. In modern fantasy literature, the Kraken has evolved beyond its role as a simple antagonist. Authors like China Miéville or Clive Barker have created nuanced representations of the creature, exploring its supposed psychology and motivations. These modern approaches paradoxically humanize the monster, making it more complex and more terrifying. Internet culture has also adopted the Kraken, transforming the creature into a meme and viral symbol. The expression, "release the Kraken," has become a universal pop culture reference, used to express the liberation of an uncontrollable force. This digital popularity ensures the myth's longevity in the digital age. Maritime festivals and coastal cultural events regularly integrate the Kraken into their programming. These modern celebrations perpetuate the oral tradition that gave birth to the legend, creating remarkable cultural continuity between ancient sailors and contemporary communities. The Kraken also influences contemporary fashion and design, from tattoos to clothing collections. The tentacular aesthetic of the creature inspires creators and artists. This artistic appropriation shows how an ancient myth can continuously reinvent itself to remain relevant in each era. In the realm of virtual reality and immersive experiences, the Kraken offers extraordinary narrative possibilities. Developers are creating virtual encounters with the creature that allow audiences to experience the mythical encounter in a totally new way. These technologies give a new dimension to the millennia-old legend. The scientific study of cephalopods has revealed capabilities that sometimes surpass the legendary attributes of the Kraken. The intelligence of octopuses, their camouflage ability, and their surprising strength give a scientific basis to mythological tales. This convergence between science and myth enriches our understanding of the legend. Marine conservation now uses the Kraken's image to raise public awareness about threats to ocean ecosystems. The destructive creature paradoxically becomes an ambassador for sea protection, showing how symbols can evolve to serve new causes. Underwater archaeological research regularly discovers shipwrecks that could have inspired Kraken legends. These discoveries create a fascinating dialogue between real history and mythology, revealing how historical facts can transform into legends through the centuries. In conclusion, the Kraken represents much more than a simple mythical creature. It embodies our complex relationship with the ocean, our primal fears, and our fascination with the unknown. From its origins in Scandinavian sailor tales to its omnipresence in modern popular culture, the Kraken has proven its remarkable ability to evolve and remain relevant through the centuries. This legendary creature continues to remind us that oceans still hold unfathomable mysteries, that nature possesses forces beyond our understanding, and that human imagination has the power to transform real observations into immortal legends. The Kraken teaches us that sometimes reality and fiction blend so intimately that it becomes impossible to separate them, creating myths that transcend eras and cultures. Today, as we explore ocean depths with cutting-edge technology, the Kraken still accompanies us in our discoveries. It reminds us that even in the age of modern science, there remain territories of mystery and wonder, creatures that defy our imagination, and legends that continue to shape our perception of the world. The Kraken, ultimately, is us. It's our fear of the unknown, our respect for nature, our need to create stories that give meaning to our existence. And as long as oceans keep their secrets, as long as humanity continues to dream and fear, the Kraken will continue to haunt our waters and our imaginations, eternally ready to emerge from the depths to remind us that mystery is an integral part of the human condition.